It's Sports by the Book at the South Point Studio. Here's Jeff Parles.
Hey, let's roll. It's the first Thursday of November. I'm Jeff Parles. Happy to be with you. It is Sports by the Book. Alex White alongside me. Oh, look who stumbled into the studio. Our guy Vinny Magliulo is here.
Sprinting in here.
Sprinting.
Like a colt, ready for Breeders' Cup.
Breeders' Cup special coming your way 2 hours from now, by the way.
5 o'clock Pacific.
Ralph Sirocco heading the team that will be hosting that show right here in this studio at 5 o'clock.
Dwayne Colucci, John Lindo. I think Steve Pike is going to be on as well.
Be good.
Yeah, it'll be a good show. Yeah.
I'll try to cram my horse racing knowledge into just watching that show, basically.
So right here in the green room, which doubles as our
the blackjack table, green
21
room, yes.
table. So yes, take notes. Those guys will give you good information.
There's the book behind us, of course. Our backs getting you ready to go here on a Thursday. We've reached November, which is scary in its own right. We've reached week 9 of the NFL, so almost halfway done with the regular season. And Vinny, baseball is done. Congratulations to Texas Rangers backers.
Yeah.
You get there with relative ease, all things considered, in this World Series. Once Corey Seager hit that homer in Game 1 off of Seawald, you kind of had a feeling that it was going to be a short series. And it was in the end, with the Rangers winning 5-0 in Game 5 to win their first title in franchise history.
They did. I don't think a lot of folks didn't think that the Rangers were going to take the next 4, but they did actually. So, and again, congrats to them. You remember the Rangers, where they who they were before? So this is one of these
Washington Senators.
Before your time.
The Washington Senators.
That's right.
I knew that.
That's right. You know who one of their managers was? Ted Williams. Ted Williams was a manager of the Washington Senators. He could not believe that nobody could hit. Ted Williams yelling at them there were
2 iterations of the Senators, right? There was the Senators that turned into the Rangers, and weren't the Twins the Senators also? The Minnesota Twins?
1965.
Am I wrong
were
on
in
that?
the World Series against the Dodgers. So they were. I don't know. No, the Senators were. No, the Senators were still in Washington, and when
there were
Twins
2.
were
They were the Twins. There were 2 different variations, right? Or am I crazy here?
That might even be before my time.
I think I'm.
Might be before Jimmy's time.
I think I'm wrong on this one, Vin.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I'm
No,
wrong
the Twins. I think are in an expansion.
Yeah, I think I'm wrong there. But regardless,
anyway, it was a good season. And World Series futures are up for next year.
Now, I would imagine Texas winning, perfectly fine result.
It was good. It was a good result. I mean, again, it was good action. Again, Chris put up a lot of good props. People like the props. They gravitated towards them, the multiple options to bet, first inning, yes or no, run line, adjusted series prices, the exacta that came in. Like I want to say Rangers over the D-backs was like 80-1 going into the playoffs. It was good. So it was a good result, good action, and good result.
And a good Game 5 yesterday. I did enjoy that game with Zach Allen going 5 or 6 innings with no hits, and then the Diamondbacks, man, they just left so many players on base through that short period of time. So, yeah, I like that defensive battle that we saw yesterday and not going straight to a bullpen game. You know, seeing the starters really go as long as they could. But Bruce Bochy, he got it done again.
Best manager of the last 30 years at this point.
He's awesome.
At this point, him and Torrey, the only ones who've won 4 in the last 30 years. Torrey was doing with an all-time great team. Bochy's now done it where he has had this was probably the best of the 4 world championship teams. Maybe 2012 San Francisco.
I was going to say that, yeah.
2012 San Francisco is the one that I think you have an argument for. But 2014 San Francisco was not that good of a team. It was just Madison Bumgarner's arm and clutch hitting throughout that postseason. And in 2010, he kind of looked up and was like, wait a second, how is this team in a World Series before they beat Texas?
Yeah, and I think the difference, too, is that, don't forget, they lose DeGrom right at the beginning of the season. Yep. So I think that pitching overall, especially on paper, back in 12, and as a result, probably strong. But what they did, again, to adjust and to be resilient, again, we talked about it going into the playoffs. The fact of the matter is they had a 3-game lead with about a week to go. in the division, and they wound up losing the division and becoming a wild card team, and everybody kind of left them for dead. And look what they did.
By the way, Chris Andrews is backing up my story. The first version of the Washington Senators turned into the Twins. The second version of the Washington Senators turned into the Texas Rangers.
They didn't go to. I don't think there was a lapse in Washington.
I think they just gave him a second team right away.
Right away.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, there we go. I didn't think I was crazy.
Well, nobody. Listen, if you were in my chair, you'd be crazy. I mean, that's why we do what we do.
In all honesty, I think if any of us are on this side, other than Alex, at least the two of us, Vinny, we're both.
We need some
nuts.
sanity.
Yes, 100%. That's why Ryan and Jerry and Sean are back there for a little bit of sanity as well. All right, tonight NFL. Let's go there. Sean's Steelers in action tonight. Also, Frank Nicotero's Steelers. Frank will join us at the end of the show here today. Pittsburgh, 3-point favorites, 37 a total. Vinny, I'll just ask you with this. With what we saw from Will Levis on Sunday, which was by any measure significantly better than we thought it would be in his first true NFL appearance. Going up against Kenny Pickett, who is right now, how healthy can Kenny Pickett be after that rib injury he had to leave the game with on Sunday against Jacksonville?
Yeah. Well, I think both of these guys, right, Levis is going to get a different defense too, right? Particularly with Cam Hayward coming back. Now, I think Mika Fitzpatrick is still out for the game, but to your point, Jeff, yeah, he's not 100% Kenny Pickett. We have a toggler here, buddy, taking 3 and laying 2.5. Well, with the Steelers, so two-way action, but at the most critical number, Alex.
The play for me was the Titans' first half, mostly because I didn't want to make Chris mad, but also because of how Pittsburgh has played in their first half. The last 4 games, they have scored a total of 9 points in the first half. So I'm looking at the Titans to keep it close. I do think it's going to be a low-scoring game, so it's kind of a coin flip, right? Who's going to be ahead at that first half? So I took plus 120 here, and obviously I do expect a drop-off for Levis, but if he can find Hopkins at least one time, I think we'll be in a good spot.
Well, yeah, what did he find him last time? Well, last week, 3 times. 3 times, right? He had the hat trick. But, yeah, no, listen, again, film is a great equalizer as well. And so, credit Levis. I think, again, it's a good matchup. I always like when the Steelers are playing, there's always a little added bounce to it and an uptick to the action.
I cross this game off immediately from a traditional sense. Some books out there are offering anytime touchdown on Derrick Henry plus money, which you just don't see that very often. Kind of hard to pass.
Well, they're a passing team now.
Yeah, oh yes, they're throwing.
Clearly,
yes,
right?
The throw first Tennessee Titans, exactly. But this is a game in the AFC that, and again, we're in November. We can start talking playoff picture a little bit. You can start talking it now that we're basically making the halfway point for everybody. Pittsburgh's 4-3. They play Green Bay next week. If you're the Steelers, you win these next 2 games and get to 6-3, going into that back-to-back road spot at Cleveland, at Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Even if you lose those 2 games, you're still in reasonable shape with 2 winnable home games against Arizona and New England after that. This is a pretty important game. If you're holding a Pittsburgh Steeler nice plus money ticket to make the postseason before the year, you need this one tonight against Tennessee.
Yeah, that's a good point, Jeff. And what you want to look at is obviously look at the current record. You're looking ahead. You're looking at schedule, and I mean the trade deadline's behind us now. We knew who did participate and who didn't. And so and again with the added team, with 7 teams making it, and then look at the divisions, right? Which divisions are going to have multiple teams? And this is a division, the AFC North, that's probably going to have multiple. The question is, how many, right? I mean, you can look at certain divisions and say there's going to be one team, right? I mean, NFC South right now, would you say there's going to be 2 teams? I don't know. I'm not so sure. AFC East. We'll stay in the AFC. AFC East, yes, more likely. AFC North, yes. AFC South, no, in all likelihood. AFC West, unless the Chargers get on a roll, right, Alex? I mean, that's so that's also something that should come into your thinking when you're handicapping with a yes or no for a team to get there.
And you're right, Vinny. I do think we'll have a good game here. And you brought up the trade deadline. Neither of these teams made any moves, and that proves the Titans are playing for something because there were rumors about Hopkins or Derrick Henry. Kept them both. So, I think it's going to be a good fought game. And we know that the Steelers, it's really hard to play in Pittsburgh, one of the toughest places. Yep. So I anticipate we have a good matchup here.
Total from 36 to 37. Low total. And probably going to need some help from special teams and defenses.
Well, again, with
to get to the
Pittsburgh
over.
Playing, we know that defense is at a bare minimum capable of setting up scores. They're also capable of scoring themselves. So, it's just one of these where, again, it's too much unknown for me. Will Levis was amazing last week, and credit to Will for that performance against Atlanta. It's going to be very hard for him to even come close to that tonight against Pittsburgh. Nothing for me. Did you fire on anything officially or no?
Yes, Titans first half.
Just the first
Titans,
half. Just only the first half on Tennessee for Alex. Nothing full game, and then Vincenzo and company we'll need this game not to land Pittsburgh by 3.
No Pittsburgh by 3. And of course, then you'll have in game 2 on Thursday night, right? And Thursday and Monday night in games probably a little bit more than Sunday because they're standalone games too. So a lot more involvement with from that perspective, and certainly if you just want to wait till the second half to see. And of course, Alex, you point out the Steelers make great adjustments. They've made really good, probably one of the better teams in making adjustments for the second half as we've seen this year.
Yes, we have multiple games. I think all but the Texans game, right?
Oh, yes. Yeah. They did not play. They didn't play that half, did they?
No, they didn't. Yeah.
Let's go to college football real quick for tonight. There's 3 games. Let's start in the Big 12. I took 3 with TCU. That doesn't exist anymore. 2.5 now, Vinny. So it's another one. You're going to need any result but Texas Tech by 3 tonight against TCU in a battle of 2 pretty nice-sized underachievers so far this year in the Big 12. Total also bouncing all over the place. Right now at 59 on this one.
Yeah, 59. Pretty high total. It's come down a little bit since this morning at 59.5, 60 depending on where you were. So nice positioning 2 of the games today, right? The one college game at 4, 2 at 4:30, and then, of course, we've got the Thursday night football game at 5:15. So it's a nice slate. And, of course, our local guests and public will get involved with cross-sport parlays, right? You get some NBA action. You got a really good hockey schedule tonight. And of course, the Golden Knights are playing tonight, too, so they're going to be involved. Be a little bit more hockey action tonight, particularly by our local clientele here at South Point. But to your point, Jeff, Texas Tech opened at 3 and now down to 2.5.
So I'm on the opposite side of Jeff on this one.
We have 2-way action at the desk. I love that.
Well, this is the trend. Whenever it's a Texas Tech game,
that's true.
You guys are opposite.
I'm very low on the Red Raiders. Alex is higher on them. So this is not. As soon as I walked in and said, I'm on TCU 3, I knew this was coming.
And you said it very nicely. Underachieving. I mean, both of these teams have really been pretty disappointing, but both of them need this game for a chance to be bowl eligible, which is crazy to even say. But Texas Tech does get Morton back under center. Both of them are coming off a bye week. So I think it will be a good game. I'm just leaning more towards Texas Tech, of course.
Yeah. You want to pay attention to that bowl eligibility aspect. As we were talking about earlier about, in the NFL, maybe you're talking about, playoff scenarios. Well, in college, it's about the bowl bids, right?
Yes, it is.
You might be giving the teams too much credit for playing a good game tonight. That's all I'll say. This is Baron Morton will be back tonight, though, for Texas Tech. So that is a nice little boost for them. You brought up the bowl eligibility stuff. Very good point there. TCU, Texas Tech, I think, is cooked. I just don't see. They have to go to Lawrence and go to Austin the rest of the way. Mm-hmm. I don't see them winning either of those games. I think they're done regardless, even with a win tonight. But, of course, you hold out hope with a win tonight and maybe you pull an upset next week in Lawrence. TCU, they get this game tonight as a small underdog. They're going to be pretty significant underdogs in Fort Worth next week against Texas.
Yes.
Then they'll be favored at home against Baylor. Mm-hmm. And then they will be a pretty significant underdog in Norman the final week of the season.
Correct.
So, to me, if we're talking, again, Texas Tech is on bull life support to begin with. But TCU needs this one tonight. They win tonight, they are going to go to a bowl because they're not going to blow that game at home to Baylor in all likelihood.
I don't see it. No, I don't see it. Again, but you want to take those aspects into account when you're doing your handicap, especially with a low number, right? You have now less than 3 involved here, so anything 3 or less, right, is certainly something that you want to take into account based on that bowl eligibility factor.
Let's go to the other game in the Power 5 tonight, where Alex might have one that could end up in the closing line value Hall of Fame potentially tonight. Good work regardless of what happens.
Thank you.
Wake Forest at Duke. No Riley Leonard. Questions about two offensive linemen, their 2 best ones, left tackle Graham Barden and right guard Jacob Monk, are both questionable, where it sounds like Barden is probably not going to be able to go, who was a first-team ACC lineman at the beginning of the year. Alex, I'll give you the floor.
So with Riley Leonard, he's been questionable a lot the last few weeks. So I took a shot. I grabbed the 12.5 with Wake Forest. It is now down to 6.5. Jeff made a joke that they're probably going to win by 2 touchdowns, and the line won't even matter. But I'm feeling good with 12.5. And we know for Wake, they got their quarterback last week, and it didn't go great against Florida State, but I think we see a better performance from him tonight and his offense against Duke.
And this game did go as low as 6, so I don't know if, Alex, you perhaps laid a little 6 after taking 12.5, but there are folks out there that threshold, again, when we have a game that runs, right, you're looking for that threshold to get some buyback on it. We found it at 6, so we'll see, but I don't anticipate that. This is certainly not going to steamroll back up the way it came down.
It's also a big total move, not much of a shock at all on that. As high as 45 to 40.5.
Yeah.
On that one tonight. Again, Riley Leonard will not play. Forget the ankle of a few weeks ago. It was a toe injury that knocked him out last week in Louisville. That knocks him out again here tonight. Grayson Loftus will get his first career start tonight for Duke. No word on if Mr. Loftus is just a computer-generated name right there or not. Grayson Loftus.
AI?
AI, yes. Very good, Vinny.
There you go.
Very good. All right, one more college game. Actually, a pretty good one in the belt. South Alabama and Troy, 44.5 the total right now, 5.5 Troy laying it. These are 2 pretty good teams here in the Sun Belt there.
Yeah, up and down, or down and up, I should say. 6 on the opener here at South Point on Monday morning. Got as low as 3.5, and then started to climb back up to where we sit now at 5.5. So, down the ladder, try to come back up the ladder, and vice versa when you have that kind of activity. Alex, do you have a play here?
No play for me in this one. The number was right where I made it. I have Troy minus 3.5. So.
And again, let's just to point out to Alex's point here, what professionals like Alex do is they make numbers and compare those numbers to what we post. And so anybody out there that's looking to how do you what determines that? Well, you have your power ratings, right, Alex, and then you're making adjustments and you're comparing and following line movement as well.
Yep, exactly right, Vinny. After Saturday's games, I go back and adjust and see how I did, see where the game fell, see where the line closed, so I know how off I am or how close I am.
Right.
And if I'm right on, move on to the next game or adjust as need be.
Well done.
I wish I had taken the 6. That's all I'll say.
Yeah.
Wish I had taken the 6. Troy with a nice win last week at Texas State in a cover as well. Game.
Jeff, you might get that chance again. I don't know. I mean, that was that was the opener. Certainly, a better chance for that to occur than the last game we were talking about, right? Where there was a 6-point move. So I don't know. You may see it.
I want to ask you one more game before we let you go, and that's on Sunday morning.
Okay.
Germany
Yes.
Vinny, you'll be up. You'll have a vat of coffee next to you for it.
Yeah, I'm going to have a coffee in a big Bavarian Stein.
Chiefs open 2.5.
Yes.
As low as 1. You guys are now to market low at 1.5 here.
Right.
I'm going to bring this up, and I'm sure this will come up in conversation on tomorrow's Football Friday show. Miami went to Germany early. Kansas City left Kansas City today.
Mm-hmm.
You have to imagine that the bettors, at least the sharper bettors, are paying attention to this. We've already seen this year. Jacksonville went early against Atlanta. The Falcons did not. Jacksonville won that game pretty comfortably. The next week, Jacksonville was already there. Buffalo didn't leave until Thursday.
Yeah, exactly.
They looked bad.
Yeah.
Baltimore left on Monday for London and was clearly the right side against Tennessee in that game. So I think there is something to the leaving earlier in the week with a sharper football team potential.
No question about it, Jeff. That's definitely come into the play here, and I think the professional handicap again. Well, let's also remember that's why we didn't open at 3 to begin with as well, and we were kind of waiting to see exactly which when these teams. That's something we've had to pay attention to in recent years with these European games. Who's leaving? And the wild card this year with the Jags being there for 2 straight weeks. But certainly, I think the advantage goes to the Dolphins here, and maybe it was also for Mahomes in particular to get healthy. Remember last week he had the flu, right, and it was it came out that there was a possibility. He became questionable on Sunday morning. But again, something this move also reflects what we've seen this year. And we talked about it off air before the show today. We need the Chiefs every week, which from our side of the counter, that's not an awful thing. Okay, they've been a public team now for quite a number, especially under in the Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes era. But again, you've got two terrific teams here. The Dolphins offense, Chiefs trying to get healthy, and made a couple of moves. On the defensive side. And the defense is really what's carried the Chiefs this year, right? I think a lot of people are maybe surprised about that. It's been their defense that's really carried the load. So kind of waiting for their offense, particularly the wide receiver core, to get better. I don't know if it's going to happen in this game.
I'm really curious to get your thoughts on this because I know you have not been that high on the Dolphins, especially with the lack of defense that they have shown, especially against the good teams like the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have I
was prepared to bet Kansas City, but I'm a little concerned about the travel.
Yeah,
I probably will take a short money line price on the Chiefs, but traveling that late in the week is concerning. And I brought this up. I think I brought it up on Monday with you, Alex, where Patrick Mahomes for that game on Sunday for the first time, it really looked like teams are doubling, tripling Kelsey now, and he didn't know where to go with the ball. We've never seen that with him. Now, granted, could it be that the flu was really impacting him? It's harder to hydrate at Mile High to begin with, even worse when you're already sick. Maybe, but we're almost bordering on me making excuses for Mahomes at that point. So I just am curious. All right, Vic Fangio is a great defensive coordinator. Jalen Ramsey is back and made his imprint already on the defense last week. Do they just throw Ramsey and one other guy, double Kelsey, and say, Patrick, throw the ball to Rashee Rice, throw the ball to Kadarius Toney, throw the ball to Sky Moore, and beat us that way? I just wonder if that's the case where Fangio can do something creative and Miami steals a game that they have not been able to steal yet against a good team.
Right. That's the other part of it, right? You're waiting for the Dolphins to beat a quality opponent, right? Yeah. And so again, all those questions are going to be answered. Do I wish this was a primetime game?
What, you're telling me that a single window at 6:30 in the morning is not the
Bills
same?
Now the Bills and Bengals is a great game.
Sure
or do
is.
I wish this one was in the afternoon? Yeah, but again, I've said it all along that bettors adjust and they'll adjust to this one. This one, I'm going to say that it'll in all likelihood be the highest handled European game of the year because of the participants.
That makes sense.
Have you noticed the narrative that they're trying to set up? And did these two play each other last year?
No. No, this is the first time Tyreek's playing against the Chiefs.
So have you noticed that it's almost like the media is trying to poke the bear? All week I've just heard about, did he want to leave Kansas City and things like that coming up. And I'm like, feel like they're trying to poke the bear a little bit here and see what we get out of Tyreek Hill in this one.
Does he get double teamed? Although
I don't know how much that matters.
It didn't stop him. It didn't stop him last year. He just instead of running by one guy, ran by two.
It's a really good measuring stick game for both of these.
No
teams,
question.
For where they're at.
Yeah.
And an AFC where I know I brought up it plenty of times. The fact that the entire league let the Bengals hang around when they didn't have their stuff and Burrow wasn't healthy.
Yeah.
And Cincinnati, I think, is going to smoke Buffalo on Sunday night and really make a point to say, hey, we are back. And also they match up great with the Bills. Bills just don't match up well with them. But really, two really good measuring stick games.
Sure.
With that Cincinnati-Buffalo game.
It bookended, right? It's nice, which is great.
By the way, Bengals 2 against Buffalo.
Yeah, that game did get as high as 3 earlier in the week. So 1.5 on the opener, as high as 3. Now down to 2 here at South Point.
All right, Vincenzo, we're going to let you go back to work.
All right, we had Thursday, and I got a couple of things to do.
We got a few things to do. Vinny Magliulo, everyone. When we come back, Alex and I will look again at the Thursday night NFL game and also looking at this card with a lot of unknowns at quarterback coming this week in the NFL. We talk about it next. Sports by the Book.
South Point offers all the types of entertainment you'd expect at a first-class Las Vegas resort. Did you know our 400-seat showroom is one of Las Vegas's top destinations for live entertainment? Enjoy live performances by classic Vegas entertainers, bands, and today's hottest comedians, plus a rock and dance floor. You can also enjoy live entertainment at the Grand View Lounge, where you'll feel all the vibes of old Las Vegas. Enjoy the music, and if you love to laugh, don't miss The Dirty at 12:30, our very own free comedy show. Every Friday night at 12:30 a.m. in the Grand View Lounge. The Dirty is 100% free, so arrive early. Go to southpointcasino.com or call the box office at 77136 for today's performances at the showroom and the Grand View Lounge. When you're ready for your favorite cocktail, stop in and unwind at one of our 7 specialty lounges. There's a bar around every corner, because you're in Vegas, baby. South Point Casino has plenty of attractions for the whole family. Catch a movie. Our 16-screen movie theater includes 2 XD Extreme screens for the ultimate in viewing, sound, and luxury. After the show, treat the family to a variety of treats at our old-fashioned ice cream parlor, Kate's Corner. We scoop up a variety of creamy concoctions, including smoothies, hand-dipped cones, milkshakes, malts, sodas, and sundaes. At Kate's, there's something for everyone. And if you've still got time to spare, our bowling center might be right up your alley. Voted Best of Las Vegas, it's a great place for friends and family fun. 64 lanes, a pro shop, snack bar, and arcade. And while the kids are bowling, you can play slots and sip on a drink in the Alley Cat Lounge while overlooking the lanes. For our more serious and professional bowlers, the South Point is also home to a separate tournament bowling plaza.
Welcome back in at Sports by the Book here at the South Point studio. I'm Jeff Parles. Alex White alongside me. We're happy to be with you as always. Frank Nicotero, hashtag punch Frank Nicotero, be with us in about 10 minutes from now. Again, that's all Ryan McCormick over there. Ryan McCormick just trying to be a smart aleck, and he got it done with the best hashtag there is in the business on that for sure. The host of Punchlines, Frank, is here right at this desk here at the South Point studio, noon Monday through Friday. All right, Alex, I want to go back to the NFL game tonight. So you're on Tennessee first half. I'm only on Derrick Henry anytime touchdown. Those are the only 2 bets between the 2 of us on this one. I just want to ask you this with Pickett, who looks like he's going to play, clearly 4 days after bruised ribs, is not going to be anywhere near 100%. Just how do you handle that with a short week and a big injury like that, even though the guy's going to try to tough it out and play it?
Well, I think that definitely led me to my play with the Titans first half, especially because, we know we've seen a little inconsistency with Tennessee, but we've seen more consistency with their offense than we have with Pittsburgh, with Pickett. So I think, I don't know, that definitely led me there, knowing that I have these big-time players like Derrick Henry. And I like that prop bet, by the way, to score a touchdown. Knowing we have him and Hopkins and seeing how Levis did last week, I mean, he has a great arm. So that's, yeah.
Just again, the Henry thing is it's chalk. I know people don't like the chalk when we're talking about anytime touchdown bets, but it's a plus money bet, which is rare for Derrick Henry. Anytime touchdown kind of just shows, again, lower total. Makes sense why it's a plus money. It's part of the reason that I took it. And also, I think you're going to be looking at a game where Levis struggles a little bit tonight. And I brought this up with Frank earlier in the day. Last year, Tennessee played a Thursday night game in Green Bay, and they torched the Packers. Torched them, in part because Derrick Henry went off. I have a feeling tackling that guy on 3 days of rest is not really a fun proposition for anyone. So that's part of the reason I like Henry tonight to get into the end zone. All right. Let's go to the NFL card before we get some hockey plays from you. By the way, Alex White, of course, champion of Last Man Standing in college football a year ago. Also, winner of Sports Equinox Parlay 2023. Good work.
Thank you.
Good work as always.
It was actually
the Bruins were the only one that was really a sweat.
Yeah, it was too. And that was the first game. So I was like, oh, it's going to ruin my parlay right away. They got it done in overtime. So push through the rest of the night. And
a rare good hockey advice from me to wait for an in-game total on the Kraken and the Lightning.
And
it worked to perfection.
Yes, it
actually,
did.
Which rarity that I actually give out anything that's coherent on hockey. But going to the NFL this week, Alex, we talked about it a little bit on Monday, where we have all these new faces at quarterback this week. Atlanta, like for that game, Taylor Heineke's going to start for the Falcons. Jaron Hall makes his NFL first career start. The BYU product, 4th-round pick for the Vikings, will start in that one. Arizona, we might see Clayton Tune. It could be Kyler Murray also, which would be quite the turn of events if we see Kyler this week. And then, Brett Rippon could be starting for the Rams. We know Aiden O'Connell is starting for the Raiders this week. We know Tyson Bagent is starting again for Chicago. Oh, and by the way, I didn't even mention the guys who we knew were already going to start this week, and Mac Jones and Zach Wilson, who are not good starters either. It is a very, very tough week because, and PJ Walker is a backup who's starting this week as well. Very difficult this week in the NFL because of all the variety at quarterback due to injuries and whatever else.
It really is, and I think I leaned more to totals because of that reason, and a couple unders that I like a lot that, we'll get to on Sunday, but the Falcons, does that make you lean towards them more?
Yes. You don't even have to get the sentence out. We have talked about this the whole year with them.
Yes.
Just get and I know they lost on Sunday against the Titans, but Heinicke comes in and they look like an NFL offense right away. They look like, all right, they score 20 points in the second half.
Right.
They score on every drive in the second half but one. And again, we know at some point Heinicke's going to blow up. We know this. Like, probably if he's still the starter 5 weeks from now, whoever they play, I think they play the Jets actually in 5 weeks, so that sounds good to me. He'll blow up in that game. But for the short term, when you're trying to get your team some energy, actually run a real NFL offense, yeah, you know what? Against a mediocre defense like Minnesota, only having to lay 4, I don't mind that with Heinicke. I also think if you want to go off the board this week in Survivor, you could take Atlanta this week. You go off the board with that. If you don't want to take one of the two obvious ones this week, which are Cleveland against Arizona and New Orleans against the Bears.
Yeah, that makes sense. They are going against the Vikings with a quarterback that we have not seen at all yet. And the Falcons' defense has been very good this year. That does lead me, I skipped this, we've been talking about the game tonight, but were you shocked that they didn't do anything with Ryan Tannehill?
It leads me to believe he's not healthy. That's all it is, that he's not close to coming back. If he was close to coming back, yeah, I think someone would have given it. Cleveland probably would have been the one because we saw Minnesota trade for Dobbs.
Right.
Cleveland probably would have been the one that say, you know what, we don't know when Deshaun Watson's coming back. That whole situation's all messy anyway. But it at least makes me believe that Ryan Tannehill, we're not going to see him again anyway because Levis, I think, just off that one start, hey, we're starting him the rest of the year. Let's see what we have. We're definitely we're not seeing Tannehill even if we were on another team. I think there's something more going on with that ankle than we realize.
I think you're probably right. And I have to say, we talked about Minnesota being pass heavy and how I was questioning you. I'm like, I don't know how Tannehill's going to fit into that offense. I think Dobbs was a great choice for them. I'm excited to see how that plays out. I mean, he gave that Arizona team life. He really did for the last 7 weeks. I know they're 1-6, but I mean, he made them competitive. Everyone already crossed them off, had them as the worst team in the league, and they actually they weren't. They hung in there.
I want to go to another game. We haven't mentioned it yet. It's a gigantic one in the NFC.
Okay.
Philadelphia and Dallas. Eagles, in all honesty, you win this game, it is going to be very hard for anyone but the Lions to realistically make a push for the number 1 seed. And I don't think Detroit's good enough to catch Philadelphia as it is anyway. Alex, Eagles are 3-point favorites in this one with a total of 46.5 behind us. Rest of the board, 47.
I don't have a play in this one. This is the only one that I really don't have a feel for either.
Okay.
Like, I'm on the opposite side of you. I'm going to be backing the Bills against the Bengals this week. Leaned a little bit to Miami, especially with the travel news. So I have a little feel for these, really good matchups that we have. This one, I have no idea. And I know Dak Prescott, he has beaten the Eagles, 3 times? The last times he played them. So I want to lean there with the Cowboys, but I'm nervous about going against the Eagles.
This is a spot for Philadelphia where you look at the way that the NFC has played out. The Niners have lost 3 in a row. They're vulnerable right now. They're on a bye this week. They get Jacksonville out of it. It could very easily be 4 after they go to Jacksonville next week. Philadelphia begins a stretch that is one of the most obscene stretches I have ever seen in league history for the schedule. Cowboys this week. They have a bye next week. They'll win that. Right, Frank? They'll win the bye week? Anyone? Yes. Yeah. Frank Nicotero in studio. He'll be with us in a few moments. The Eagles are in Kansas City after the bye on a Monday night. Then they host Buffalo. Then they host the 49ers. Then they go to Dallas. Then they go to the Seahawks. If you include that game 2 weeks ago against Miami, other than that game against Washington last week, where the Commanders played them fairly tough for whatever reason.
Of course.
This is insanity, this stretch that Philadelphia is on. If they go through this stretch, the next 6 games at 4-2, they're getting the 1 seed in the NFC. And this is kind of, as ridiculous as it may seem, I would argue the game against Buffalo is the easiest of the games because I'm lower on the Bills than seemingly the entire market is. But it's a home game in division against a team that you've played great in your own building over the years. It's kind of one of those where if you're going to get the 1 seed, you win this game against Dallas and you cover the 3.
Absolutely. And you know what? Thinking about the Eagles, I don't know what we're calling it. The brotherly shove.
The brotherly shove.
Is that what we're calling
that
it?
Or the took-us push.
Okay.
Would be the only 2 things that I'll call it by.
Okay. So we saw in the last game they had an answer for it, right? They finally got shut down, and then they did a little.
But then they did the variation, which was even better for everybody.
It was. It was great. So I mean, they are a very dangerous team, I think, from top to bottom. So, but I mean, how Dallas played last week. I know it was against the Rams. And I know the Rams have been very inconsistent, but they looked really good. So if we can have that team show up, then I think they have a shot here.
Anything else on the NFL card we need to look at this week, Alex? Because Seattle-Baltimore is a really good game as well. We're getting to the point where getting 6 with Seattle feels like a lot, but Baltimore has been, other than that game where they had no players, against Indianapolis. They've been awesome at home this year.
Yep.
Chargers and Jets on a Monday night, and then a whole bunch of blah the rest of the card, in all honesty.
So looking at that Germany game, I was looking at the over here. Does it make you nervous with the information of the Chiefs traveling late, maybe them having a slow start to go over?
Bit.
I mean, it's pretty high. It's 50 and
50 right now. There is some 51 out there as well. So make sure if you like the over, make sure you get one of the 50s behind us where you can get one. But, Alex, you're dealing with Miami's defense that isn't particularly good. Mm-hmm. The only concern that I have is what happens if the Chiefs show here? And the Chiefs' defense has been great that was not their fault last week. They lost that game to Denver. They played pretty darn well. They just kept getting put behind the 8 ball because Kansas City kept turning it over. 51, I kind of like under. Kind of like an under at 51. At 50 would be the similar sort of thing. Granted, I lose my 27-24 out, which feels like a very plausible final score in this game.
Yes, it does. And, that defense, you're right. They did do pretty good, but they did give up more points than we're used to seeing to that Denver's offense. So I'm thinking if the Dolphins get ahead early, we know Patrick Mahomes does have it in him to bring them back and could end up having a shootout here. So leaning towards the over. Haven't made an official play yet, but wanted to get your take on it.
Yeah, right now I lean Kansas City, but a little more tepid with the news of the travel late in the game. All right, before we bring our guy Frank on, hockey tonight.
Hockey tonight.
Where are we going?
So got to give everybody what they want, and that is an overplay. So I've got Florida and Detroit over 6.5. Love this one. We all know how the Red Wings have been playing, how they've started this season. They are 7-3 to the over in their first 10. And then they've got a guy, Alex DeBrincat. He is leading the league in goals. And then on the flip side, we know Florida can score. And Sam Reinhart, he has 8 goals on the season. So thought there was value there. I made it above 7, to say the least. So going over in that one. Then there's 2 unders I like. Nashville, Seattle under 6. I grabbed that. I believe it is down to 5.5. You can find the 6. Take the 6. Both these teams, they're kind of average in both offense and defense. Haven't been putting up too many goals. Kraken are averaging 2.4 goals a game, and they are 7-3 to the under. Slow start for them. Little disappointing after their year last year. Last but not least, Islanders and Capitals under 5.5. This is actually my favorite under here. I made it 4.8. So we've got 2 good goalies. The Caps are 6-2 to the under and 5-0 to the under at home. The Islanders 5-3 to the under. Sorokin will be in net for New York. He is 3-1 to the under in his last 4. I really like him. And we know how good Darcy Kepper is. He did win a Stanley Cup with the Avs in 2022. He will be in net for the Capitals. He is 4-0 to the under in his last 4.
There we go. Alex's hockey plays here tonight. There is also a slate of NBA games as well on the card. 4 of them. Nothing for me. Nothing for you, right?
No, nothing for me. I thought the lines looked pretty right. I didn't see any dogs I wanted to take, and totals are very hard for me in NBA.
Yeah, Phoenix gets a second crack at San Antonio after whatever that was at the end of the game on Tuesday night, where the Spurs with that epic comeback to steal that one from the Suns. 9.5-point favorites tonight. Phoenix at home against San Antonio. Orlando 2 on the road against Utah. New Orleans 4 against Detroit at home, and then Philadelphia 7.5 against Toronto later tonight in the association. All right, we're going to bring him on. The host of Punchlines, our guy Frank Nicotero, joins us next as we wrap things up here on Sports by the Buck.
South Point offers all the types of entertainment you'd expect at a first-class Las Vegas resort. Did you know our 400-seat showroom is one of Las Vegas's top destinations for live entertainment? Enjoy live performances by classic Vegas entertainers, bands, and today's hottest comedians, plus a rock and dance floor. You can also enjoy live entertainment at the Grand View Lounge, where you'll feel all the vibes of old Las Vegas. Enjoy the music, and if you love to laugh, don't miss The Dirty at 12:30, our very own free comedy show. Every Friday night at 12:30 a.m. in the Grand View Lounge. The Dirty is 100% free, so arrive early. Go to southpointcasino.com or call the box office at 77136 for today's performances at the showroom and the Grand View Lounge. When you're ready for your favorite cocktail, stop in and unwind at one of our 7 specialty lounges. There's a bar around every corner, because you're in Vegas, baby. South Point Casino has plenty of attractions for the whole family. Catch a movie. Our 16-screen movie theater includes 2 XD Extreme screens for the ultimate in viewing, sound, and luxury. After the show, treat the family to a variety of treats at our old-fashioned ice cream parlor, Kate's Corner. We scoop up a variety of creamy concoctions, including smoothies, hand-dipped cones, milkshakes, malts, sodas, and sundaes. At Kate's, there's something for everyone. And if you've still got time to spare, our bowling center might be right up your alley. Voted Best of Las Vegas, it's a great place for friends and family fun. 64 lanes, a pro shop, snack bar, and arcade. And while the kids are bowling, you can play slots and sip on a drink in the Alley Cat Lounge while overlooking the lanes. For our more serious and professional bowlers, the South Point is also home to a separate tournament bowling plaza.
Welcome back in. It's Sports by the Book. That is the South Point Sportsbook. There's three of us in here now. I'm Jeff Parles. Alex White is here, and Frank Nicotero.
What's happening?
Is here, the host of Punchlines.
What you were on today. I feel like I haven't seen you in 2 hours.
It's been a hearty 2 hours.
Yes, it has been.
Excuse me, 3 hours.
It was 3 hours ago.
3 hours ago.
Again, Ryan will tell you, I somehow time is escaping me when I do this show.
I was trying to figure out how many minutes, and my brain didn't want to do 3 times
180?
60, which 180.
180 minutes.
See, there we go. See, there's the street smart.
I'm good with numbers. You throw a variable like algebra and geometry, I was no good at. But I was the youngest member of the Valley View Grade School Multiplication Club. You had to know all the way up to the 12 times 12, which is 144. So I've always been good with numbers. I think it's because I studied baseball cards a lot. Like in 1977, Rod Carew hit 388. I remember these things, but if you asked me what I ate for lunch yesterday, I honestly don't know. But it's numbers. I'm a good numbers guy. It's very.
How does one get in the multiplication club?
You know what? It was. I was so young, and I think my sister was trying to get in. My sister was 4 years older, so I looked at that as motivation. So I memorized all the way up through 12 times 12, which is 144. Which is also a gross, I believe, is it not? Yeah. And I went in to take the test, and it was usually reserved for, I think, fourth graders and up or something. But I got it. I think I did it in second or third grade. And it's been all downhill since. My academic career, it was all downhill after that. But I got straight ones. And except for I would get, ones were like A's at this school, but I would get a 3 all the time, and that was penmanship. Can't read my writing. My writing is the worst. Should have been a doctor. Can't write. I can't write. I can't even read. I'll come down with notes. This is why I've switched to printing out my notes, because I'll look at, when I first couple weeks of doing punchlines, I'd look down and I go, hey, here's another thing I want to talk about. No clue. So I'm moving. Ryan knows. So yeah, I'm technologically moving, and I can't see it. Let me put my glasses on. This makes me look even smarter. 12 times 11, 132.
Very impressive.
Speaking of punchlines, I think your show is fantastic. I
thanks.
enjoy watching it. How is it going for you?
It's been great. You're coming on tomorrow.
I will be there tomorrow.
We had a baseball bonanza this week because a buddy of mine who I met when he was playing with Pittsburgh when I lived there. That's where I started, I was born. It's called birth, where I was hatched, where I started this thing called life. I met Denny in Pittsburgh. We became friends, and he brought in Tom Glavine. So it was cool to have a Hall of Famer, videoing in on Halloween. And we had Marty Cordova, who went to Bishop Gorman, I believe, which is Ryan's school. Didn't he go to Bishop Gorman, Ryan? Oh, that's your rival school. And where did you go, Alex?
I went to Bishop Gorman.
She went to, your megaphone used to be in here. Is it still here? No, that's the vacuum. Anyway, Marty Cordova, and then we had, he brought in Greg Vaughn, who, two-time All-Star, who lives here in Vegas, and promised to give away a bottle of wine. I don't know who's going to get the bottle of wine, but.
You didn't stash it for yourself?
You know what? I didn't, because I like to give to the viewers. I like to give to the subscribers and the viewers. But it was a fun week, and we've been having a goofy time. We do some silly bits, we do some jokes, and then we talk some, get some sports people in and get some numbers in there, and then we have people with credibility like yourself and Jeff over there that come in and try to give some winners. And I think overall we've been doing really well. And of course, Mr. Ryan McCormick with his Rangers future bet paying off. So
good for McCormick.
Yeah,
there.
I know he's got like $600 or $700 coming his way. What was it? 650? 650 win.
Don't blow it all at the tables, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he won't. He's saving it, I think, for a baby shower this weekend, he said, right?
Oh, there we go. Into a Daniel Bellinger touchdown.
Wait, who's Daniel Bellinger? Oh, yeah, that's the guy you went to high school with?
Also Ryan McCormick's friend.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Don't bet on your friends, and I can say that now that Denny Nagel's not here, because I used to bet Denny. I'll tell you a quick story about Denny. He was playing the Dodgers. He was in town with the Braves, and I was playing at the Laugh Factory right on Sunset, and I knew his wife, and him and his wife were going to come down, and he was going to bring some players with him. So they come, and he has Kevin Millwood, who was a good pitcher.
Yeah.
He brought, I think Chipper was there. It was Chipper, I think, that night too. And then a young lefty southpaw reliever named John Rocker was with him.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, John Rocker, who, if you're not familiar, can Google him after the show, but he ended up saying some things he shouldn't on an interview. That was a little crazy. But they came down to the Laugh Factory. Then we went over to a bar called Dublin's, which I think made the Jay-Z song Bubbling at Dublin's. Ryan, can you check? Ryan, you're down with the rap. You know the gangsta rap in California. Anyway, so Denny, we're having a few drinks, and Denny's not drinking because he has to pitch against the Dodgers. He said, Frank, I'm leaving. I said, what are you doing? It's only like 10. He said, I got to pitch. And he goes, I'm looking at these guys, He said, I'm probably going to have to pitch a shutout tomorrow. So I was out late. I wake up. I didn't even see the Dodgers score. The Braves lost 1-0. He was right. He goes, because they were out. He goes, the last night of a road trip, everyone goes out. So he goes, I'll see like Chipper go to swing and go, oh, God, I'm in trouble. So he lost 1-0. He pitched like 7 or 8 scoreless, but that's why he left early. He's like, I got to focus, but the other guys kept going. So
see, you're to blame for a 1-0.
I was to blame.
A 1-0.
A lot of people who might have been watching the game might be able to track down that date. It was whenever John Rocker was a rookie, and it was in the summer, and Nagel pitched on a Sunday, and the Dodgers won, I think, 1-0. We'll check Baseball Reference, but
and he said he has a bad memory. That was pretty good.
But numbers.
It has to be. Rocker was what, a rookie in '97?
That sounds about right. It was late 90s.
He wasn't on the '96 team.
Okay. That sounds right. 97, 98.
98 he was a rookie. So, you know what? Here we go.
Take a look.
We'll look that up. John Rocker did not make it long in the league because of those comments, which were not good.
Was it in Sports Illustrated,
yes,
I think?
Yes.
Yeah, he talked about the subway and all the...
some really bad stuff about
Yeah, as a New Yorker, you know.
While he's looking that up, how do you feel about the game tonight? Are you feeling confident about the Steelers?
I'm wearing... This is a Good Luck Pirates. Good Luck Steelers shirt, Pittsburgh shirt. I feel good. They don't lose at home. They're not going to lose 2 in a row at home. Now, this is a stretch, and Jeff and I talked about this last week. They lost last week to Jacksonville. Jacksonville always beats us. Now we have Tennessee. We have Green Bay following Sunday. They need to go 2-1. I wanted them to go 3-0, obviously, but I think 2-1's good. Kenny Pickett. I heard you guys talking about Will Levis, Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett is 6-0 in primetime games.
Okay.
He hasn't lost a primetime game. The lights will be on tonight. What's that? Against the spread. Come on, who cares? No, I know. He lost one, but yeah, against the spread, he's 6-0. Thank you. He's 6-0, and Tomlin 23-5, and that's straight up, I believe, right, against rookie quarterbacks. Yes, so Tomlin, I was there actually. I'm going to date myself, but I was there when John Elway made his debut in '83. I was a pup. Hey, Ryan, how old were you in '83? His parents were 8. That's always lovely. Yeah, I know. Alex with her mouth agape. I saw John Elway's first game at Three Rivers. Steelers defense tormented him. Obviously, that was an old still. But the Steelers have always played well against rookie quarterbacks. So tonight, Will Levis, he had 4 touchdown passes. Yeah. But the guy's a jerk. Let's talk about it. This is why he fell down on the drop board. No one likes him. He puts mayonnaise in his coffee. Are you aware of this?
Yes.
This is so gross.
Well, you don't like the mayonnaise and the bananas in the coffee? It's mayonnaise in the coffee and mayonnaise with bananas.
And
he eats the skin of the banana.
And he eats the skin of the banana?
Yeah.
This man will not win on a Thursday night football game. There's no way you eat that diet and you win in Pittsburgh on national TV. They're going to play Renegade at the start of the 4th quarter. Steelers win 27-14.
Whoa.
No, safety, 29-14.
Okay, forget it. It's already over anyway, Frank. You don't even need the safety.
I'm going over. The Steelers might go. This might be the first time that Matt Canada offense gets over 400 yards. Every team has done it, I think, a minimum of 4 times.
Yeah, and they haven't done it since the pandemic
It's
season.
ridiculous. Yeah. So tonight's the night. Look at those uniforms they're wearing, though.
The nice little warm-up there.
Those
George
Tennessees.
Pickens getting ready to go.
Yeah.
They're in Pittsburgh right now. By the way, I found the game you were talking about.
Yeah, you did.
I found it.
Okay, you're the man.
Found it. August 16th, 1998.
Okay.
It was actually a night game. It was a Sunday night baseball
That's
game.
right. I think that's right. He wanted to be home to rest all Sunday, too.
So it's 5:07 local time.
Okay. That's all. Yeah, right.
Dodgers win 1-0. Braves get 2 hit. And again, this is Chipper Jones and the big cat Andres Galarraga and Ryan Klesko and young Andrew Jones. Like, we're talking about a really good team getting 2 hit by Darren Dreiford.
Darren Dreiford.
To the
LSU guy, I think.
So the only run in that game was scored in the 8th inning. And Denny gave up a solo home run to, of all people, Eric Young Sr.
Oh, wow.
Who had no power whatsoever.
Yeah.
He was a base steal.
Yes.
And Eric Young Sr. took him deep for the game's only run.
And Denny won 8 innings.
Denny had a complete game loss.
He had a complete game loss. That's what I'm telling you. And somehow I think this is what he said. He said, I got to get out of here. I know these guys. He would say, like he would see him in the first inning. He'd see like Chipper swings and he'd be like, I'm screwed. I got to pitch a shutout. And he did pitch almost a shutout.
Almost.
And he lost. I can't believe you tracked that down. Well done.
You know what? That was the Rocker rookie year helped me. That got me to 1998. And
there you go.
Find the road trip in L.A. And there we go.
Jeez, yeah, that's crazy. 98. So that was 25 years ago. Wow.
Yeah, 25 years ago.
And how old were you then, Alex or Ryan? No, we don't want to know. Yeah,
I was 5.
You were 5.
I was 5.
Jesus, I feel like Vinny.
Ryan wasn't born yet.
Sean and Jerry, they weren't born.
And if I asked Vinny how old he was in 1998, he would scold me.
Right. Okay, we won't do that.
So we won't do that.
He's not here anyway. Yeah. But we do know we had that one bit where we had him betting on the 1887 baseball championship, and we had a picture of a little baby like with taffy and drinking sarsaparilla, and we put Vinny's face on it.
Ooh, sarsaparilla, there you go.
Sarsaparilla, yeah. Well, I watched Deadwood too, so I remember that. But yeah, I like the Steelers tonight. I think is it 3? Is it holding?
It's still 3.
Still at 3.
What do you think about the total? 37.
Yeah, it went up. It was 36.5. I think. Some late money coming in on the over. The weather's nice. I've seen pictures of my friends on Facebook already. It looks like it's a mild night. I don't think temperature or weather is going to be a factor. I mean, that is just so insane for an over to be 36. But I know these Amazon games, these Thursday night, call them Amazon games. These Thursday night games, the unders have been the norm, right? So it might have something to do with the players are still sore. They're still tired from Sunday. I don't know. My prediction, though, I'm taking a safety somewhere. I went 29-14, so that's 43 points. Yeah, I guess the over.
I lean to the under a little bit here.
Everyone. Well, Chris Andrews, our beloved sportsbook director. I was in there last Sunday. He's got the greatest setup back there. It's the best setup. So I went down there and I'm watching. There's 8 games going on, and I'm rooting. He's like, "Who are you rooting for?" I'm like, "I'm rooting for points." He goes, Frank, you're allowed to bet unders. It was the greatest thing. I'm like, I know, but I have over in the KC game because it's Kansas City. They're supposed to go over. I didn't go over. They scored 9 points. They lost to Denver or whatever. Was it 9? They had like 9. Yeah, 9 points. Great. Yep. That's what happens when I bet KC. So I'll lay off of them for all you Chiefs fan in the Germany game. Although I think they're going to be tired. We talked about it. They traveled today. They're traveling tomorrow. They're still. Don't you think right now this panic is setting in when they're hearing all these news outlets saying, why are they still? They haven't gone on a plane yet. Then maybe they're like, well, we should take a red eye. I don't know. I'd get over to Germany.
Oh, I would too. It takes me a long time to adjust, that jet lag and stuff. I would not want to be in that.
When I go upstairs into the room, I get you. That's how I missed last week's show. But it was the Equinox.
You didn't miss it because we didn't even remind you of the spot. I
ran in
on our part.
I ran in a panic thinking I missed it, and everyone was laughing. They're like, the show was over an hour ago, idiot. But we had the Equinox. Yeah, when you have an Equinox, you don't need me.
We were good. We appreciate you being here, though. Today.
Yeah, the Steelers win tonight. They're not going to lose 2 in a row at home in 5 days.
Does Ryan have a Houston Oilers shirt ready for you?
Oh, you son of a... Although, you know what? If I had to wear any non-Steeler football jersey, it would be either the Chargers Baby Blues or the Oilers.
I got to find the... I had
those Baby Blues.
Oh, the Baby Blues are
baseball. Talked about it all baseball, too.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
When I was in middle school and just hoarding NFL jerseys back in the day, I had one of those throwback Tennessee Titan, Houston Oiler, Chris Johnson, CJ.
Chris Johnson, the fat 2,000 yards,
CJ 2K.
Yeah, he was
fast. I gotta find that for you, Frank. If they lose tonight, I'll bring it in. You can wear it on the show tomorrow with Alex.
Ryan, are we doing this or not? Is this happening? I
have to find it.
If he finds it,
there is a more than 70% chance it is either in the garbage or in New Jersey. So,
which is the same. Oh, come on!
On that note,
I'm from Pittsburgh.
On that note, we're not going to let Frank get away with that. Frank, tell everyone again where to find the show.
Yeah, we're at Old Cowboy Movie. We're at high noon to 1 tomorrow. Alex will be on the show, and we have a guy who's a former anchor here in Vegas, and he's now in Kansas City. So we're going to talk about the Chiefs a lot. We'll talk about Kansas City. His name is Dennis. That's his name, Dennis. Ryan? Dennis Evans. Let's go with Dennis Evans. Dennis Evans will be. It's the first time on the show, so I just call him DE. We just call him Dennis, basically. Yeah. So Dennis Evans will be here, and Alex is gonna be here tomorrow to give us some winners for the weekend.
Yep.
Be excited. On the lookout. The appetizer for tomorrow's 2-hour Sports by the Book
Wow.
tomorrow with Chris Andrews, Vinny Magliulo, and myself, a Football Friday. But, of course, high noon in the desert. Frank Nicotero and Alex White tomorrow on Punchlines. Frank, always a pleasure. I still like you even with the New Jersey game. Even though I will tell you, I kind of walked right in.
Yeah, you did. You set me up. You put it on a tee, and I just
right on the tee, just too easy.
I was Corey Seager, and I took a tee
in the end. Alex, good luck on all the bets you have tonight. Hopefully, that Wake Forest bet is not in the closing line value Hall of Fame at the end of the night. Just lose by 10, Wake Forest.
Please.
Make everyone feel good about that plus 12 from earlier in the week. For Alex White, for Frank Nicotero, for the crew, Jerry, Ryan, Sean, doing great work as always. For Vincenzo, who was in earlier as well, I'm Jeff Parles. We'll see you tomorrow on this show. Also coming up in 1 hour's time, the Breeders' Cup special right here where you're watching on YouTube right here in the studio. Ralph Sirocco, John Lindo, Dwayne Colucci, and maybe some more guests. Looking at you, Vincenzo, coming up potentially on the Breeders' Cup special 1 hour from now. We'll see you again tomorrow on Sports by the Book.